Using any ORM is a fantastic skill to add to your resume, but they are also a really handy tool which can help speed up your development process. In this video, I'm going to get you up and running with TypeORM and show you how you can create a CRUD API that you can use in your own apps and projects. The first thing we need to do is get TypeORM installed in your project. TypeORM is basically just an npm package, so you're obviously going to need to have both Node and npm installed to use it. If you've got those prerequisites, it's simply a case of installing TypeORM into your current project. You also need to install a database driver for TypeORM to use. This is just a case of choosing the database that you're going to be using with TypeORM and then installing the relevant npm package. We're going to be using SQLite for this tutorial, but other options include Postgres, MySQL, and MongoDB. There's one final step before we move on to connecting to the database, and that is to configure the TypeScript environment by setting emit decorator metadata and experimental decorators to both to be true in your tsconfig file. Now we're set up and ready to connect to our database using TypeORM. To make a connection, let's first create a new file to hold all the details needed to connect. This is known in TypeORM as a data source. You can see that we import the data source class from the TypeORM package and then create a new instance of this, specifying the type of database we're going to be using, in our case SQLite, and any additional configuration that is needed to connect. If we were using a different type of database like Postgres or MySQL, we would also need to provide authentication details, but these aren't needed for SQLite, so we just don't include them. For comparison, here's an example of a Postgres data source. To actually make a connection to the database, we need to call a function on the data source we have created, and it's a good idea to do this in our main app code where we'll be writing our routes. So in our app.ts file, we've got a basic Express app set up, and we're going to wrap this app in our database connection using TypeORM's initialize function. So we import the data source we created in the first step and then call its initialize function, which connects the database and returns a promise. If successful, we can then continue to set up our Express app to serve, but if there's a problem, like the username and password isn't correct for example, we catch any errors, return from the promise. So now we're connected, we can define what data we're going to be using with TypeORM by defining data models. TypeORM uses the term entity to refer to data models, and it provides a TypeScript decorator which allows you to convert a class to one of these entities to use within your app. We'll create our entity in a separate file, blogpost.ts. You can see that we use the entity decorator to let TypeORM know that this is one of our data models, and we can define properties on the objects we'll be using with the column decorator. There are a few different ways in TypeORM of creating primary keys for our models, but here we've just used the primary generated column decorator, which will create an auto incrementing number for this field for each object we create, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, but you can use other things as well, like GUIDs. To use the new data model, you'll need to ensure it's listed in the Entities section of your app's data source. There are a couple of different ways to work with your data model using TypeORM, but the easiest and most flexible way is to set up a repository for it in your app code. We can do this by calling the getRepository function on the data source we've created, passing in the blog post data model class. We'll use this blog post repository variable to work with the blog post data model in TypeORM. Now we've got a basic data model set up, we can use TypeORM to create some data and store it in our SQLite database. You can create new objects based on the data models you define and set the properties of those objects as you like, and when you're ready, you can store the entity in the database using the repository we just set up. Of course, setting all the properties like this would be a bit time consuming, especially if you had lots of things to set, so you can apply complete objects to the data model rather than setting properties individually. Here's an example of creating a new blog post in our example Express app. Of course, there's no validation or sanitizing of the data here, which is extremely dangerous, but hopefully you can see how we can take the data as an object from our front-end app and then use the TypeORM repository to store it. Now we've stored something in our database, let's take a look at how we can retrieve items too. The first thing that you might want to do is get a list of all the blog posts that have been stored in the database. For that, we can use the find function. Here, we're just returning all the blog posts that have been stored in the database, which might be useful for our blog app's homepage. But you might want to limit these results on different parts of your blog, and you can do that by providing values to the skip and take options with the find function. If we were to send a request to this endpoint in our Express app with offset and amount query parameters, we could control the amount of results returned by the find function. The other thing we might want to do is get a specific blog post for our app, like when a user clicks through to read an article, and we can retrieve something specific from our database with TypeORM using the find by or find one by functions. In our Express route, we're specifying the ID of the blog post we want to find, and then we pass this value to the find by one function to get that one particular blog post. If you're an admin of our blog app, you'll probably want to make some changes to the post, so let's have a look at how to update the data that's stored in our database. Updating is a two-stage process. You first need to find the right resource in the database, and then you can modify it before saving it back to the database. In this code, we're getting the value of the changed blog post text from the request body, and identifying the ID of the blog post using the path parameter in the Express route. We can then find the blog post resource using the find one by function and change its text property. The repository can then be used to store the updated blog post. Let's take a look at the final type of interaction you might want to use in your apps, removing resources from the database. To remove items from the database, there's a delete function on the repository object we can use. You'll probably want to consider sanitizing and validating the resource the request is trying to delete, but you can see it's just a simple case of calling the delete function with some way of identifying the resource in the same way that you would do with the find functions. So that's the basic CRUD operations you would expect to do with resources stored in your database. However, most apps aren't quite that simple. In all but the most simplest of apps, it's likely you'll have data models that refer to other data models. For example, in our really simple blog post app, we might want to have an author data model to link the posts that are being written to a specific person. We want to connect this author entity to each blog post that is created so that we know who wrote it. To do this, we want to create a relationship between the two data models we now have. In the case of the authors on the sites, they can write many blog posts, whereas a blog post can only have one author. We can set up these types of relationships with more TypeORM decorators. So here we've added the one-to-many decorator to the blog post property on the author data model. This will add a new property to the data model and will fetch all of the blog posts this author has written when requesting an author entity, but only if we tell TypeORM to do it. And I'll explain more about this in just a moment. The blog post data model needs to be updated too in order to set up the other side of the relationship. This time we've used the many-to-one decorator to show that the author can write many blog posts and that these can be found on the blog post property of an author entity. Now when we create a new blog post, we'll want to make sure we're setting the author of who wrote that post. Updating the post route in our Express app, we now need to find the author who wrote the post, which we're doing in this example by passing in the author ID within the request body from the front-end app. And once we've got the author, we can construct a new blog post entity, setting the author property to the found author, and then we can save this to the database. If you try and fetch blog posts now, the data that's returned will look pretty much the same as it did before. So if we want to get the author data returned to us when we fetch our blog posts, we need to let TypeORM know that we want to include related data in the result. By passing in an options object to one of the find functions, we can specify which related entities we want to return in the result, and of course we can do the same thing the other way around and include the blog post entities when fetching author data. There's lots of other things that you can do with TypeORM in addition to what we've covered here, including building your own queries, using the built-in query builder functions to allow you to customize the way data is stored and retrieved in your database. If you're still not 100% sure on how you might use TypeORM in your projects, then you should check out this next video where we'll build a complete app using TypeORM, and it will be a great project for your portfolio or just something to further your skills with using ORMs.